It's the Breeders Cup Dirt Mile Monster Podcast presented by Spendthrift Farm, home of six-time reigning champion sire Into Mischief. Brittany, what's going on? You're somewhere down there.
Somewhere
That way.
a stone's throw away. How are you?
I'm good. I've been gone. We were in Italy for a while, but I got on a city bike yesterday and was weaving in between traffic, and I felt like I was back in New York.
It felt a little bit different, biking in Italy than it does biking in New York City. I don't know. I get worried when I do that. I'm going to be knocked over by a car. I'll say hi, Willow.
Yeah,
She might make some
my,
appearances.
yeah, I will. Yeah, my wife won't do it. She won't do it either. All right, let's talk about this dirt mile.
Mhm.
And I think the conversation has to start with who feels like one of the most talented horses. I would have lost a lot of money if someone would have told me after Nisos' third win that he still would not have won a grade one yet. That might change on Breeders' Cup Saturday. What are your thoughts about Nisos?
Oh gosh, he's been this horse that I remember watching him in the Robert B. Lewis. I think I was covering the show that day for NBC, and all of us were, jaws dropped. You thought you witnessed something really special. And how disappointing was it that obviously he went to the sidelines and couldn't run in the Kentucky Derby? So I love that they kept him in training and he's come back with authority, I think. I think his San Diego handicap was beautiful. Prior to that, the Triple Bend was great. And then again, he goes to the sidelines with a foot issue and can't run in the Pacific Classic. So I have always held this horse in very high regard. I know, obviously, the barn has as well. I think he's shown brilliance on the track. And if he shows that again, I think everybody else is running for second. The biggest question mark, of course, is going to be how does he come back with all of that time off? But, you have Bob Baffert. He always has his horses primed and ready, especially for the big day. So I wouldn't question any of that. I really like him in the dirt mile, but can we just give hats off to the dirt mile field as a whole? This is one of the best, if not the best, dirt mile field in Breeders' Cup history.
I think a lot of times Dirt Mile gets a bad rap because of the horses it pulls from what could make the Classic better. But I think this year the Classic's good enough, will be just fine. I mean, who do you really want to see? Maybe Nisos, maybe White Abarrio.
Mhm.
Obviously, in the past, we would have loved to have seen Liam's Map or Nick's Go. Speaking of Nick's Go,
Mhm.
White Abarrio trying to do the reverse Nick's Go by Nick's Go obviously won the Dirt Mile and then the Classic. White Abarrio is trying to go the other way with the Classic into the Dirt Mile. Feels a little bit like an afterthought for me, but it sounds like he is training well. What are your White Abarrio thoughts?
I feel like they're still trying to figure out now at 6 years old where this horse is best, right? I mean, we haven't seen him win since the Go Sapper earlier this year, but that was a very fast race and a very authoritative win. But since then, when he's stacked up against really good competition, he's not the White Abarrio from the Classic in 23 or in the Pegasus, right? He's a big question mark to me because, of course, he has the back class to go back to that, and he's fast enough to win this race, but I haven't seen it as of late, and it feels like they're kind of throwing darts with him. Where does he land? He might be training great. I don't know if right now he's better than Isos.
And here's Tama in the final stages. The Santa Anita Derby goes to Tama. It's Tama, absolutely terrific, winning Malibu by 4 widening lengths.
All right, let's talk a little Baffert here. Let's talk about some of these 3-year-olds. Two horses that I think, at some point, people probably expected a lot of. The
Mhm.
2-year-old champion and Citizen Bull and Goal Oriented. What are your feelings about those two? And then we'll get to the buried lead of the defending champion in Full Serrano.
It's interesting because a lot of people are talking about this 3-year-old crop, and when we look at the Classic, as being better than the older horses, the Sovereignty, Journalism, Baeza type group, right? Citizen Bull, goal oriented, Chancer McPatrick. We haven't seen that type of brilliance that you can put them in that conversation. So where do they end up? They end up in the dirt mile. The Citizen Bull ran a very good race last time out in the Shared Belief. It was the fastest race he's run. If you envision that at 3 years old, he can take one more step forward, you could have him part of the conversation. I mean, he likes Del Mar, and Del Mar can be a horse for course type of track. Some horses love it, some horses don't. Arrowgate, I'm talking to you. RIP, love that horse. And in terms of goal oriented is fast enough to compete with Nisos if you look at his Haskell performance, but He hasn't hit the winner's circle in a few tries, right? This horse will likely be forwardly placed. I'm not sure if pace scenario wise, if we get all of these horses in it, it's going to behoove him necessarily. That's one thing I love about Nisos is you could probably place him anywhere in the race and he'll be comfortable. I think that's what I was so taken by in some of his previous efforts is that he doesn't seem like a need the lead or super, quick off the blocks like most Bob Baffert horses are. You can put him anywhere. So that being said, of the horses that you had mentioned, I think Citizen Bull, if he takes one more step forward, considering his affinity for Delmar, that would be the one of the two I'd look at.
Well, in the last few years, it feels like we've had a lot of repeat winners. Goodnight Olive comes to mind
Mhm.
as a champion who comes back and wins. What do you think about Full Serrano? Do you feel like Full Serrano can duplicate the performance from last year? He had the second in the Goodwood last time. I guess I suppose I was hoping for a little bit more out of him. What are your Full Serrano thoughts?
I feel like he's coming into this race almost exactly the same as he did when he won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last time. Obviously, that was a surprise, and the quality of field in the Dirt Mile last year isn't the same as the Dirt Mile we see this year. But you have to like how he's coming in just because of what we saw last time out. His best race was third off of the layoff. So are we going to see his best race third off of the layoff again? Um, for me, it's just a tougher field. You can't really say it's apples to apples here.
Well, look, I know you're a Dodgers fan, so I know your allegiance is on the West Coast. Does a California-based horse win the Dirt Mile?
Yes.
That was easy. I appreciate it.
Everyone always says anytime I pick a horse that's based out west that it's West Coast bias, but genuinely I just think that Nisos is the best horse in this field. I don't know if I'd say that if you put him in the classic because Sovereignty C, not West Coast biased. I think Sovereignty is just too good. But for me, yeah, I think that it will be a West Coast horse.